Okay, so we have John L. Johnson, Pulgur, the Perturbed One, Jagatai Khan, Leman Russ, Conrad. His name is just Conrad. Linguini. Let's watch every single Warhammer 40K faction explained. Oh man, I don't know if I know what I'm about to get into, but I'm ready. I don't know if I'm ready.
Who doesn't necessarily serve the Omnissiah, but someone who can appreciate them. You will not be getting my legs today, as I will be replacing them with various things depending on which faction we are currently talking about. To add a little bit more context.
Damn! What? Why does that get to the anime girl legs? Wait, are the factions like the ones of the like the Space Marines, right? So, cause I know I watched the lore, right? So it's like the Emperor has like 20-something children, and they all make their own Space Marines. Are those the factions?
And possible comedy to whatever the hell I am currently doing. So, hello everybody, my name is Bricky, and this is going to be a long video and a large project that has been going on for quite some time. This is, I need two hands for this. This is every single Warhammer.
Or are the species factions?
Penis.
Like the Necrons and the elf ones. The races, the species.
40K race in kind of a nutshell, explained, a little bit of explanation, a little bit of lore, a little bit of talking about the tabletop, mostly lore, what they're all about, and also a little bit of background for those of you who just have no clue what Warhammer.
AKA me. Yo. Only thing I've ever seen was another video of his. That's the only thing.
Warhammer 40,000 is. Now you see, Warhammer and Warhammer 40,000 is a universe people hear plenty of but don't know a whole lot about. They see, oh, there's these dudes in big power armor with chainsaw swords, and they got these big old green orcs, and there's some bugs over there, and everyone calls these guys weaves, and then there's these spiky bitches over here, and I don't get it. I don't understand where.
Yeah. Necron Supremacy. Oh my god, the Necrons was also my favorites, because I think they got down dirty, man. They got down dirty, goddammit. There's 3 or 4 factions of elves and dozens of human factions. Why? Why is there so many? Make it easy, please.
Where do I start? Well, this video is particularly for you, or for those of you who have a little bit of knowledge, but you're kind of curious about each of the different races and factions in Warhammer. So overall, the Warhammer universe is vast when it comes to lore and background, and each different faction is so different with the things that they believe in.
Man.
And some are human, some are transhuman, like where they all have all these crazy ass.
Is that why so many trans people like Warhammer 40K?
Electronics on them. You've got aliens, and you've got the chaos factions, and there's so much to entail.
My boy! Yo, W Nurgle!
That I decided to embark on this project to tell you what each and every single one of them is about, and what the Warhammer universe is about as well, to give at least a little bit of an intro to this extremely bloated but very, very enjoyable world that I and many others partake in. So, I will be explaining every single faction in the Warhammer 40K universe, at least all the factions you can play as, and some smaller factions here and there. I will not be discussing absolutely everything in it, because that is a little bit much, and I'm not going to go too mega deep into the lore. I'm going to give you a pretty solid overview of each of the different factions, and have you learn a little bit about them, and we'll discuss a little bit of the tabletop as well, in case you were curious about that.
Yeah, I really wonder. I am curious about it. In the first video, there was no mention of the tabletop, and I really wonder how all this connects to a tabletop game. This was really cool though, like, holy. These are the Necrons, right? These miniatures look really nice.
But for this episode entirely, we are discussing the Imperium of Man, because that takes up a fat chunk of Warhammer lore. Oh, boo-hoo! What is Warhammer 40,000? Well, the 40,000 starts off is the year 40,000, the 41st millennium. That's where it takes place.
We know this from the last video.
40,000, 41,000 AD. you're already more knowledgeable. Let me read you a quote, first of many quotes in this video. It is the 41st millennium. For more than 100 years, the Emperor has sat immobile on
actually, it says centuries, not years, so,
the golden throne of Earth. He is the master of mankind by the will of the gods, and master of 1,000,000 worlds by the might of his inexhaustible armies. He is a rotting carcass, writhing invisibly with power from the dark age of technology. He is the carrion lord of the Imperium, for whom 1,000 souls are sacrificed every day so that he may never truly die. To be a man in such times is to be amongst untold billions. It is to live in the cruelest and most bloody regime imaginable. These are the tales of those times. Forget the power of technology and science, for so much has been forgotten, never to be relearned. Forget the promise of progress and understanding, for in the grim, dark future, there is only war. There is no peace amongst the stars, only an eternity of carnage and slaughter and the laughter of thirsting gods.
Okay, that goes hard. that goes hard, man. That's bars. You know the skeleton writing with fire? That's this.
Everything blows. And it blows fucking hard. Warhammer is probably the most dark and depressing universes ever in fiction, or at least like top 3. Everything is so absurdly horrible, destructive, or overpowered that it all kind of ends up canceling itself out. It's like Dota. War rages across the galaxy. Interstellar travel is only possible due to sacrificing 1,000 souls a day to a rotting carcass of a man who you believe to
Just
be—
let him die, man. Just let him die. He did enough, bro. Genuinely. Let him go.
your god. Demonic gods and just demons tear open the fabric of reality on a whim. Other Xenos or even other humans end up killing each other in untold billions across the galaxy. It is a time of unending war, slaughter, and a bloodbath amongst everybody. Planets are deemed unrecoverable and are completely destroyed on a whim. Everything sucks, but that's like the charm of it. See, everything in Warhammer is evil, but being evil is kind of fun. Like humanity, in its own right, is a xenophobic
society. We live in a society.
Prejudice and religious zealot group that kill each other just as much as they kill all of their enemies. But
the fact that that's not too far off to current times, though.
and they're like mid.
It is called Warhammer. It's not called Peacehammer. You are very right. That is a very good observation. If it was called Peacehammer, I would be more surprised about the war. It's so edgy, it loops it back around to not being cringe. I like when stuff is super exaggerated. Like, I feel like if you want to go like this, you have to dedicate. Where's the hammer? True, where's the hammer? They should just call it war.
Mid to high tier evil
War.
On the evil scale of Warhammer. Nobody is good.
Wait. I want to see the evil scale. My roles, that guy, cow players, Imperium of Man, Elder, Orcs, Tyranids, playing low tier for fun, playing by intent, guys who bring food. I don't understand half of those words, but I agree that guy is evil.
Mid to high tier evil on the evil scale of Warhammer. Nobody is good. No matter who you are, everyone is some flavor.
Nah, the Necrons did nothing wrong. They just wanted to survive, and then they got fucked over by gods, and then they imprisoned those gods. The Necrons did nothing wrong, goddammit.
Some color of evil. Whoever you pick, you are going to be the bad guy. But that's the fun of it. Because being the bad guy is badass. Villains are cool. They look cool, they got cool outfits, they got cool weapons, they got cool armies. Villains are cool, man. And when everyone is a villain, everyone is pretty cool. That's what makes this so charming, is that everyone can be the bad guy. So let's start off talking about the main bad guy.
The villains are cool, they have cool outfits speech. It's a bit different when you think about real wars, doesn't it? Like when you think about the real wars that happened and bad guys that had cool cool armor. It hits a bit worse, doesn't it?
Quote unquote, the Imperium of Man.
It's hair, whack. It's gear, whack.
The Imperium of Man is the main empire of the human race. All of humanity is under this one flag called the Imperium. And about 10,000 years ago, there was a man. He was the Emperor of mankind, a 10-foot-tall psychic demigod who led...
10 foot? Oh my god. If you're not 10 foot 11, you're short. Do not talk to me. I need my man to be at least 10 foot 11. Oh my god. Short king, I guess. Not for me, though.
humanity across the stars to colonize tons and tons of worlds,
thank you for the
create
follows,
superhuman soldiers, and really bring humanity into a new age. This man, the Emperor of Mankind, was a psyker. And a psyker is like a magician of sorts. In the world of 40K, there is the warp, the immaterium, kind of like hell, but sort of like a purgatory
we know
dimension
this.
Of hell. And a psyker is someone who can take that power and manifest it through their mind to use it to do stuff, like witchcraft stuff, magician stuff, spells, and lots of other things, but we don't want to get too into that. The Emperor, big boy psyker, top tier, A+, maybe even S. Now the Emperor created a bunch of sons.
How are you gonna say he's not S? He's like, isn't he at the same level as the Chaos Gods?
Created a bunch of sons known as the Primarchs. He created 18 Primarchs to have...
Damn. Some of them are hot. Yo. Okay. Yo.
Them lead all of the different legions of humanity to the different stars and plans to help colonize and bring it out. These Primarchs are basically like little versions of the Emperor. Not all of them are psychers, but a lot of them are very, very powerful, and they lead his special Space Marine legions. Then this big clusterfuck happened called the Horus Heresy, where the Emperor's favorite son, the Primarch, Horus, ended up joining Chaos.
Horus. It's in the name, man. It's in the name, Horus.
And leading 9 other, well, I guess 8, 9 of the...
Almost every held Primarch is evil, except for like one. Yeah, but apparently everyone's evil in this universe. That's the fun of it, man. Come on. Do I seem like a Warhammer 40K character? I'd probably get annihilated. But I do have, however, I do have robot arms. So those would probably fit right in there. And also I can get bold. But being bold apparently means being evil in this universe, so I don't know if I want to stay bold. 18
half of his Primarchs directly to Earth to fight down the Emperor himself. Now, if you want to know what Chaos is, remember what I mentioned earlier? The warp, that immaterium, the hellish place?
Yeah.
In there relies the 4 Chaos gods.
Hell yeah, my
Imagine
goats.
like Satan and 3 other Satans.
So we got Korn, we got Twitch.tv, we got Nurgle, and we got Slanina.
The warp being kind of evil, those Chaos Gods, that's the reason. And so those Chaos Gods manipulated Horus, and then Horus helped manipulate all 8 other Primarchs to lead this giant coup directly on the Emperor on Earth. And they fucked up shit. After this huge civil war, Horus died, but not before brutally wounding the Emperor.
No.
And right at the end of his life, they put the Emperor on this large golden throne on Earth, in which he is now alive, just barely, but slowly rotting away, powering something called the Astronomicon, so long as he stays alive, and is fed 1,000 people a day. The Astronomicon is like the North Star. If you want to do interstellar...
What are those legs, man? What are those legs? I want to see people discovering how Slaanesh was created. Oh, I know. It was the elves had so many orgies that they orgied themselves out of existence. And there was these 2 cities. Oh, what was the name? Oh, shit. It was like... Oh, fuck. What was the names of the cities? No, it was Cumrag. The city of Cumrag. Yeah. In the city of Cumrag. Yeah. But they were doing it overall. But there were some of them that didn't do it. But because they the other ones that did it, they made a new god. Because, you know, Cumrac, yeah, that's the name of the city, yeah.
Travel in 40K, you need to pass through that demonic warp I mentioned earlier. But how do you know where you're going? Well, the Emperor is there putting a nice little navigator right there. He helps navigate you to know where you're going. If you want to go from Earth to some crazy solar system across the way, you need to go through that warp, and then you need...
So that's why he does. I was a bit confused on the video I watched, like, why exactly they needed him on the throne.
To know where you're going, go through there and pop your way out. It's like doing nether travel in Minecraft, so you can shorten the distance between going to areas. So long as the Emperor is alive and being fed 1,000 people a day to stay alive, you can do that. The moment he dies, interstellar travel's gone for all of humanity. You're so boned. Now, since the Horus Heresy 10,000 years ago, the Imperium has fallen from grace substantially. All technology has started to dwindle and die. There is now giant fundamental religious extremists that now believe the Emperor of Mankind was a deity, a true living god, which is probably the last thing the Emperor would have wanted to be remembered for. So now you have this thing called the Ecclesiarchy.
I mean, he kind of was. He was just insanely powerful. I feel like at a point, I don't know, I feel like what makes a god, at least here, is like, he is at the level of the Chaos Gods.
Just this giant church entirely devoted to spreading the good word of the Emperor. He is now the Holy Emperor God, the God Emperor of mankind, and all of the Imperium has taken up worshiping him to the full.
He literally told people not to worship him. Yeah, but so did Jesus, you know. I'm not God, says the bishop punched the dragon tomorrow. See what I mean? See what I mean? I understand the idea behind it, but I mean, I'm just saying technically, by like how powerful he was, he could be classified as a godly being. Okay, even though he didn't want to be seen that way.
Fullest extent and killing anything that isn't humanity in his name. The Imperium has this futuristic gothic tone to it.
Damn.
And a hefty religious zealotry to them. If you think anything against the Emperor, that's heresy and you deserve to die. That is called being a heretic. Heretics die.
Don't worship me. Shows up in gold shining armor, flaming sword, active halo around his head.
40K. There is no such thing as freedom of religion. There is no such thing as freedom of speech, so long as you are against the Emperor. There is no such thing as any kind of tolerance. Everyone is a religious zealot. Some more than others, but no matter what, you're preaching that good word. So right now, everyone in humanity is trying to expand their empire across the stars. If you are a heretic, someone who doesn't believe in the Emperor, you are deserving of death. If you believe in the Chaos Gods, you are also a heretic and you deserve death. If you are an alien race of any kind, you are a filthy Xenos and you deserve death as well. So long as the murder continues.
Space racism goes crazy. Heresy. Oh my god, they were a sub, baby. Yes, space racism. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
And humanity expands. The Imperium of Man is very, very happy. However, the largest fighting force of this Imperium is my personal favorite faction, and the first faction we will discuss, the Astra Militarum, or also known as the Imperial Guard.
I heard the term Imperial Guard. I have heard this terminology.
You finished? That's it, man. Game over, man.
The Imperial Guard is the main fighting force of the Imperium, and in a world of horrifying creatures, galactic monstrosities, the literal demons themselves breaking through the fabric of time to kill you, the Imperial Guard are untold billions of regular men and women wearing...
I do like the fiction where it's just regular guys, just men, against the biggest horrors of astronomical horrors and stuff. Just having this guy, the type of deal like guy with the gun versus magic caster or demon, where there's this creature and then men just humans just conquer it through technology.
Modern day like flak armor with a laser rifle. This is the humble las gun. the main weapon of the Imperial Guard. It fires superheated plasma lasers at an extremely fast fire
So they're
rate.
like stormtroopers? Wait. Are these just stormtroopers? I cast bullet, exactly.
It is reliable, never jams. It can blow off limbs, giant holes in concrete. It is overall an extremely devastating weapon in modern day. It is one of the weakest in the 40K universe. Yeah, a laser rifle that never jams, it could blow off limbs, one of the weakest weapons. That's the world we're in right now. But who cares? Because the Imperial Guard has, in each battle, 500,000 of these men and women.
They win by numbers. What do you call a deaf and what do you call a deaf gynecologist? A lip reader. Houdini. You call him Houdini.
30,000 large armored tanks,
They would have followed.
10,000 artillery batteries. The Imperial Guard wins through sheer numbers and firepower.
Because isn't there like 300 billion people?
They kind of have this World War I, World War II style aesthetic with legions of guardsmen as well as high company commanders and generals on the field along with them and multiple kinds of troops. A normal Imperial Guard battle starts off with artillery, long lines of artillery, cracking the crust of the planet underneath the enemy's feet. And as this barrage continues, hundreds of thousands of guardsmen, a sea of guardsmen surges forward, firing and charging at everything possible while the planet rumbles as tanks roll up behind them. Gunships block out the sun and tanks block out the dirt with the steps and hoofprints of millions of guardsmen. It is through numbers and sheer sundering firepower. They are the first and last line of defense for the Imperium and make up a huge bulk of the battles. The Imperial Guard is also made up of tons of different kinds of regiments. The Catachin Jungle...
Damn! The titties out regiment! They wouldn't hire me for this one, unfortunately. But damn!
Fighters live in a death world that's more hospitable than almost any firefight they'll ever get into. So they just have this steroid-looking giant knife.
They're like Duke Nukem.
Rambo Predator-looking sons of bitches, where nothing is anywhere near as scary as a simple knight on their home planet. You have the Valhallan Winter Soldiers who haven't felt their toes in years, the Mordian Iron Guard who are more interested in making their shoes shine than actually fighting a battle.
Oh, the British ones. The British.
And then, of course, the big one, the Cadians from Cadia.
What's up with Cadia?
The biggest
what happened to that planet? What? What's wrong with Cadia?
Export of guardsmen in the entirety of the Imperium. You will fire your first gun at 5. You will disassemble and reassemble it at 10. You will have pounding artillery drills day in and day out at 15. And you'll fight your first Swarm Lord at 16. And if you mention Cadia, you will burst into an unrelenting amount of tears and sadness like I do daily. To quote, I have a...
What happened to Cadia? You have to tell me. Cadia still stands? What? What? Cadia stands forever. You can't just say that. What? You heard of Meridian Helldivers? No, I haven't played Helldivers. I have my command an entire... Wait, is he gonna read it?
I command an entire battle group of the Imperial Guard. 50 regiments, including specialized drop troops, stealthers, mechanized formations, armored companies, combat engineers, and mobile artillery. Over 500,000 fighting men and 30,000 tanks and artillery pieces are mine to command. Emperor, show mercy to the fool that stands against me, for I shall not. The Imperial Guard are my personal favorite faction in 40K. They're the army I collect the most, the ones I enjoy playing the most, and the one I enjoy in the lore sense a lot. There's something about just a regular man with a laser rifle being told to charge the horrors of this universe and willingly doing so for his god emperor. It's just poetic. They actually represent...
He's not explaining Cadia to me. You said he's about to explain it.
Imperial Guard tactics pretty well. Large amounts of artillery that doesn't require a line of sight, lots of tanks, tons of infantry, drop troops,
God damn, there's so many miniatures.
Overall, they're pretty similar to how they sound, though a little bit expensive to collect, unfortunately. And they don't hit a lot. They have a bit of a bad aim, but you don't really care.
So they are stormtroopers.
Because you're just drowning them in shots. However, if you want more accurate fire and specialization, we can move on to talk about Space Marines.
Space Marines! Hazard, thank you for the sub! It's the Space Marine time! Space Marines!
The Angels of Death are up next. Space Marines are genetically engineered super soldiers and superhumans. They're given extra organs, their skin tissue is toughened, their bones are stronger, they're taller than the average.
Me wanna have 2 spleens? 1 spleen is better than 2. No, 2 spleens are better than 1. You know? Yeah, bad aiming, but aiming doesn't matter when you have 10,000 bitches shooting at the same time in front of you. I guess that's right.
Person. They're pretty massive people, and these are the specialized super soldiers that carry out a lot of the more specific tasks for the Imperium, and there's tons of legions of them. In fact, there's one per Primarch. Each Primarch, the Emperor's
So it's like 18.
as I mentioned before, oversees their legion of Space Marines. The genetic upgrade they get is based on the genes of said Primarch. It's something called a gene seed. That's what brings them up to this like superhuman level. As stated, each Primarch has their own legion. Robot Girly Man has the Ultramarines, Jagatai Khan has the White Scars, Rogel Dorn has the Imperial Fists, Corvus Corax has the Raven Guard.
Corvus Corax? Really? Corvus, dude, I swear, dude, you can't blame me for making fun of some of these names. Okay, so we have John L. Johnson, Pulgur, the Perturbed One, Jagatai Khan, Leman Russ, Conrad, his name is just Conrad, Linguini, Ferus Manus, Ferus Anus, Ferus Anus, Angron, because he's angry, Robert Gulliman, Horus for horse, Lorgar Aurelian, Vulcan, his name is just Vulcan, and then Corvus Corax, of course.
There's a whole bunch of other side sections that are also extremely interesting and have a little bit more of a twist.
Robot Girly Man. They have lots of technology, but there's no better technology than the Calixian Infantryman's portable communication transcription device. Also known for us as PEN. Boh.
The average Space Marines, which we will discuss in a bit. Humorously enough, I don't have a whole lot to say about Space Marines. They're superhumanly fast. In fact, it's been said that nothing that large should move that quick. These men in power armor moving at blazing fast speeds. Their reflexes are faster. Their skin is tougher. They are overall just extremely powerful soldiers. In fact, where they differ comes down to which Space Marine Legion we're talking about. For instance, the Ultramarines done by Robot Gilliman.
Robot Girlman. His name is Robot Girlman. Dude, I thought you were joking when he said Robot Girlman. His name is Robot Girlman.
Are the main blue boys, strong in almost every way.
These are the ones you always see, the blue ones. Robot Girlman, bro.
Of all trades kind of group that are a little bit too strong, and that's a lore problem, but...
Dude, the fact that the strongest ones are Robot Girlman is not his actual name. But the poster child, yeah, this is the ones I've actually seen around.
The White Scars by Jagatai Khan are all about speed freaks, go fast. We're talking attack bikes, we're talking land speeders.
Sonic.
You want to go in quick, you want to hit them hard, you want them to be swarming around like buzzflies. Buzz saws. With the speed of buzz saws. Fuck you, Pale King. Salamanders love fire. Fire in the forge, fire in battle. Flamers,
Fire in the hole.
melta guns, multi-meltas. Just so long as something can be burning that's big. And they're also actually some of the nicest of the Space Marines. A lot of Space Marines have this kind of like holier than thou thing because of their genetic strength. However, the Salamanders tend to put human lives above the lives
But who's your boss? Who's the boss of the Salamanders? Did he say? Did I miss it?
Which is actually rather rare. They're also all black, but not like just regular black, like 2 a.m. line at a White Castle black. Like they have a charcoal, dark, ashy exterior and blazing red eyes. Apparently something about living on their home planet of Nocturne, which I don't know if that makes much sense, but who cares? This is like fantasy land anyway. Overall, Salamanders are actually one of my personal favorite legions because they're just really cool. They're fun to play as because of all their flamer weapons, and they have a nice, like, more heartwarming lore as opposed to being super evil like everyone else's. Oh my god, we're not even a quarter of the way through the Space Marine legions. Imperial Fists believe in the power of the siege and defensive positions. Raven Guards, master of stealth and sabotage.
I want to know who their bosses are. He's not telling me who the boss is.
Having bird helmets. Iron Hands, masters of machines and vehicles, while being really goddamn good at being sold on eBay after one nerf.
What? What? So they nerfed this faction, so then everyone sold their figurines? Bro, there's a separate video about every Space Marine chapter. Okay, you know what? This is like upselling. I'll watch the separate video. I'll do it, okay?
Space wolves, Vikings, and wolves, and tons of wolves, and axes, battle axes, fur. Everywhere. Space wolves, angry, big teeth, blood angels, the genetic defect to make them want to drink blood and go crazy, called the red thirst.
They're Romanians, don't worry about it. They're just Romanian.
They have cupid wings and stuff, which is a little bit strange, and they are all super gay for Sanguinius.
I mean, I get it. I get it, bro. I mean, maybe I get it a little bit. Of course, the Romanian ones.
Dark Angels are old school knights and inner circle theme and...
Are you a heretic?
Me? No, never. Once in a blue moon, I know.
Death Watch, a fancy anti-Xenos group that nobody plays because Death Watch, and they look cool though, but no one plays them. I don't know about Death Watch. They're there though. Black Templars, for the people who, if you haven't prayed at least 3 times a day, you're gonna start praying out that airlock. And I'm sure there's some other chapters I may have missed as well, like Crimson Fists and stuff, but those are the main ones right here. Here, quote from the Emperor himself. They shall be my finest warriors, these men who give of themselves to me. Like clay,
Ayo. Let me just...
I shall mold them, and in the furnace of war I shall forge them. They shall be of iron will and steely sinew. In great armor I shall clad them, and with the mightiest weapons shall they be armed. They will be untouched by plague or disease, no sickness shall blight them. They shall have such tactics, strategies, and machines that no foe will best them in battle. They are my bulwark against the terror, they are my defenders of humanity, they are my space marines, and they shall know no fear. And on the tabletop, they fuck. Oh, they fuck hard. As of making this video, Space Marines are laughably strong. That might change at some point, but overall, Space Marines just have it's like a Swiss Army knife, a tool for anything you need.
I mean, it feels like lore-wise, it makes sense. It's hard to balance a tabletop game over lore like this, because obviously the genetically engineered to be strong guys will be strong.
Except it's like a gold-plated Swiss Army knife. It is extremely strong. If you are actually getting into the tabletop of Warhammer, Space Marines are a great start. Also, whatever gameplay style you have, whether you want to be sit back with long range and heavy weaponry, go fast and run in.
Oh my god, people are already getting toxic in the chat. The boring Legion.
All of these options are totally there for you. Space Marines are super badass, but unfortunately, it's time we start praying to our new god, the 2011 Honda Civic.
So is it any wonder people are afraid of technology?
Who's the Adeptus Mechanicus? Now, this is unknown territory. I have no idea about this.
Technology! The Adeptus Mechanicus. The Adeptus Mechanicus are a technophile cult on Mars. Now, these
They
people...
fuck what? My favorite faction, the goat. Ooh, we have some lovers of the toasters.
People are a little bit weird because they don't actually really believe in the Emperor of Mankind. And you might think, oh, whoa, Berkey, that sounds like some heresy. A little bit. They believe in the Emperor, they believe in his power, but they don't pray to him. They pray to something called the Omnissiah. And the Omnissiah is this kind of machine god that they believe permeates in all machines.
He's not just Doctor Doom.
And if you think, well, wait a minute, they believe in a different god as well? That sounds like super heresy. Well, yes-ish, but
triple double heresy.
They also make all your guns, and they make all your tanks.
You know what? Actually, if you think about it, they do believe in the Emperor, so technically, it shouldn't be that heresy. Like, you know, now that I think about it, it's fine, because that toaster stuff is probably doesn't exist anyways. So, you know, if you really think about it, it's not even heresy, like, not even a little bit. Like, you know, like, honestly, I think we should give them more money.
And they make everything that you have, so you can't really tell them to fuck off? Because you're not gonna win nothing if you don't got stuff to shoot people with. See, their Omnissiah at least makes sense from their standpoint. They believe it to be a deity that permeates through all machines. Your Honda Civic, your standard...
Yeah, so technically, it's for the machines. They lobotomizes babies to make them look like little angels that fly around you. Yes, alive.
bolt gun, your Dune Strider Walker, your giant mechs, your huge ships. The Omnissiah is present through all. And the only reason your stuff works is because the machine's spirit in it says it works. If you want your gun to work, your tank to run, you must pray to it. And I mean full stop.
Me praying to my computer every time I start stream. Please, please work. Me praying to my microphone to not do real weird crackling. Please, please, I pray to thee.
To start chanting in high Gothic, you need to burn incense. You need to sit on your knees and pray to that car. You need to rub oil on your robes, and you need to go ahomina, homina, 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 homina. Full stop. If you want your damn thing to
please,
work,
computer, please.
Fire, you need to do that. They are very bizarre.
Nobody likes Techno Priest of Mars until your PC dies and you start believing the Omnissiah. Yes.
And they actually have a bit of a point because it's obviously working. And if you look at them, I don't know how that works. So they obviously know something about what they're doing. The most notable member of the Adeptus Mechanicus is Archmagos, Magos, whatever, Belisarius Call. Look at this dude. Look at this dude. Yeah.
Don't they hate themselves because they're human and not machine?
These are these weirdos. Here, the Omnissiah Creed. The credo, Omnissiah. There is no truth in flesh, only betrayal. There is no strength in flesh, only weakness. There is no constancy in flesh, only decay. There is no certainty in flesh, but death. Flesh is weakness, flesh is death. The Omnissiah is the god of the machines, and if you wish to be whole, if you wish to be holy, if you wish to give unto him, you must saw down your limbs and remove your organs and replace them with mechanical parts, because that is what he wants, and that is how you will become enlightened. Hard technophiles mixed with religious extremism. Adeptus Mechanicus. Now, for their army side of things, they are with the Scutari. The Scutari operate with very bizarre weaponry and lots of different kinds of vehicles, tanks, and different people in between. They're very weird, but they have extremely wacky and enjoyable, and in fact quite effective both in the real game and in the lore, weaponry and gear. Overall, as an army on the tabletop, they're very weird and have a whole bunch of different shenanigans, but if you like kind of that quirky, wacky techno thing, I'd give them a pickup. Hell, They're so paranoid. I gotta keep going. They're so paranoid and crazy. These Dune Striders you see right here, one guy was able to make them work. One guy, and he died. And they're so scared they'll never work again that they keep them on and they never turn them off, and they run around in a circle the whole time until they
Holy shit, just pray to it, man. Just turn it off and pray to it.
need them, and then they corral it and they go into battle. Yep. The Adeptus Mechanicus. Now, if you want to talk about faith, though, let's talk about the Sisters of Battle.
Damn! Sheesh!
The Sisters of Battle of the Adeptus Sororitas, if that's how I pronounce it correctly, is an all-female group of battle sisters.
Is that PP? That's me. Tommy, mommies, please. My wives. Can I get some faith with that faith?
Through the ecclesiarchy section of the Imperium. The ecclesiarchy is, of course, the church. This is, imagine a private army of the church, which is scary, and it is. The sisters are an extremely zealotous force, and they take this to a full extreme. They believe in three main things: faith, martyrdom, and fire. Through the bolter, the flamer, and the melta, the Sisters of Battle are extremely potent at taking out chaos and heretics. Mainly heretics, because as they are a fighting section of the ecclesiarchy church, that's the big thing they want to kill.
Whose side are they? They're the side of the church. They're like super church. Nuns with guns.
Any form of heretic will face the Emperor's justice through those three main weapons: the bolter, the flamer, and the melta, and they will do so with extreme prejudice. Literally. They are the closest things we have to nuns in space, and I'm talking hardcore nuns. They carry holy fire on their backs. They have holy books and sigils all across their armor. Their main battle tank is a fucking pipe organ missile launcher. They have small babies that they have.
Oh man, the babies. Someone mentioned the babies.
Like, removed their brain capacity to make them little servant cherubs to fly around and give them ammunition and shit. They drop churches from low orbit as mini drop pods.
Dude, this is crazy. Okay, whoever come up with this is very, very creative.
Onto battles. They drop churches into battles, and they blare war hymns and holy music from their frigates in low atmosphere.
Average suburban carrot.
And shower holy water across the battlefield. These are the people you are dealing with, and they're fucking awesome. They can literally stave off demons on the tabletop because their faith is that strong.
Damn.
Remember the warp,
They can, oh, not Nurgle, please. Please, not Nurgle.
Demons from the warp? Well, the warp also manifests in your mind. All of your emotions, negative and positive, go through the warp. It's the immaterium, the place of all things. So if you are that mentally fortified, that mentally strong, you can stave off horrifying demons.
Holy shit.
And all these girls, oh, not a crack.
Faith power.
Not a crack in that mental armor. Now, as much as a meme as they are, and as much as their models look a lot like Ongo Gabloglian, yeah, which I can't unsee anymore, I gotta say, I love their design. I think they're extremely cool. They're another army that I'm currently collecting. They just released a whole new line of figures very recently, and they look wonderful.
Do you have to paint all of them yourselves, or do they come pre-painted? Because I know people talk about painting figures. I want the figures. Damn.
Everything from Celestine, the living, literally undying saint, from the triumph of Saint Catherine, which is literally a funeral procession as a model, those organ tanks I mentioned earlier. This shit is the most over-the-top badassery in a lot of the Warhammer universe, and goddamn it, is it over the top. But Sisters of Battle are so cool. While I'm a guardsman at heart, oh, this is such a cool faction. By Bolter
Yeah,
Shell,
that is
Flamer
cool.
Burst, and Melta Blast, the mutant, the heretic, and the traitor alike are cleansed of their sin of existence. So it has been for 5 millennia, so shall it be until the
They
end
would
of
they would cleanse all of us. We're all sitting in here by being in here, you know.
time. And speaking of burning demons,
I can see.
The Grey Knights.
the Grey Knights are the first army I actually collected back in 7th edition. The Grey Knights are a super secretive and much more old school look at power armored knights, except they are all psychers. All of them have that crazy space magic magician shit. For every 100,000 guardsmen, there's one Grey Knight. For every 10,000 Sisters of Battle, there's one Grey Knight. For every 1,000 Space Marines, there's one Grey Knight.
So they're
Grey
rare.
Knights are the strongest of the strong, both in mental will and absolute just strength. These are Space Marines that are all high-level psychers, all of them able to specifically do one goal, and that is kill demons. The Emperor believed that
So they're like just a demon purging facility. If you see a Grey Knight, you're dead. Damn.
demons of chaos were the #1 threat to the Imperium, and he probably is right. However, this group is entirely based on doing that through a myriad of tactics.
Their
Coming
armors
from the
are so
planet,
cool.
or I guess the moon of Titan in the Sol system, the Grey Knights are thrown through extremely rigorous training and are as clear of mind and soul as they possibly can be. Since the demons of the warp are the warp and your mind projects to the warp, people can go insane very fast, especially lower level psychers. These Grey Knights need to be able to harness the warp in the presence of
They are well kept secret because they kill anyone who sees them, including friendly forces. Damn. So no one knows about them.
demons and stay perfectly sane. One of their characters
Is the Grey Knight stronger than the king? Probably not, because he's the one who made all of them. The Emperor. The Emperor made all of them. He was just like the most OP. Like, Emperor was just top one for sure, probably. I think.
one of my favorite characters is named Castellan Crow. He has a demon blade, the black blade of Mahamahama, and he has to have it on him because it tempts everyone nearby, constantly beckoning them. Use my power, use my strength, suck my penis, whatever.
Go, 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 go.
The possibility, and so he has to keep it on him all the time as this thing whispers to him consistently, and he has to stave it off forever, being alone in his chambers or on the battlefield, because anyone who gets too close to it might be tempted a little too hard. He is that pure of heart and mind, and all the characters in the Grey Knights are basically like that. The only issue is that the Grey Knights have a scorched earth policy, more ways than one. If they're fighting demons, demons corrupt and make people crazy. So if I'm a guardsman and I'm fighting demons and the Grey Knights
Yeah, demons corrupt, alright.
arrive and they kill all the demons, I'm a risk. And so guess who's not making it out of there? On the tabletop, they're very strike fast, strike hard kind of people. They teleport all around the place. They are fast strike groups, small
I
amounts
really wonder how you actually balance a tabletop with these crazy ass factions.
of models because they're so dang strong. You only have so many characters, but with it, you get in there, you're very tough, very tanky, you hit really hard, and you try to bounce around the battlefield quickly, but you don't have numbers, and so every dead Grey Knight hits really damn hard. They're fun, though, if you like that kind of fast-striking kind of army. Oh, and also, Caldor Drago is a thing. We're not even going to get into Caldor Drago. All right, that is, oh my goodness gracious. I am the hammer. I am the mail about his fist. I am the spear in his hand. Though we are lost, I am the shield on his arm. I am the flight of his arrows. I am the hammer. I am the sword.
Wait, so that's where the hammer is from Warhammer? Yo, it's the hammer! We found the hammer! Thank you for the follow.
The shield. I am a soldier at the battle at the end of
Bro.
time. Grey Knights are
I'm the
pretty
cop.
hardcore.
I'm the drink.
They are as holy as you can get for a Space Marine. If you like Space Marines and you want to, you know that they're holy enough, you want to be holier, Grey Knights.
Holier than
and you
thou.
want to be holier and big. Let's talk Imperial Knights.
Oh, Lord, he coming.
Do you like gigantic walkers the size of homes?
Oh, yeah. Now that we're going in the Warhammer rabbit hole, yeah. I've been learning so much.
Medium-sized buildings? Do you want to kill heretics, but you want to kill like 40 of them per turn? Do you want a gigantic old-school knight noble house style
Evangelion.
of walkers with giant chainsaw arms? Then you got Imperial Knights. Imperial Knights, it's not a whole lot to talk about them because they're just gigantic walkers, but they have this old-school like house feel to them, like literally like they're houses. Each Imperial Knight comes from a house, and each of them act in their own special way. These behemoth of walkers also destroy almost everything in their path, killing full swaths of squads in a couple shots, stepping on legions of troops. Like, these things
don't care.
do not mess around. And they look so cool. Imperial Knights and Chaos Knights, actually, for that matter, don't have a whole lot to discuss. They're just super big, heavy walkers, and they look different depending on your house or chaos god you currently believe in. And overall, these things are just really cool if you want to
I love old art, man. For the Emperor. I do think they should just let him die. I know space travel is gone, but it's fine, you know? You can just start over.
Everything in your path. They're the big, scary, big unit of Warhammer, and if you want to collect them, go to town. They make for a great painting project, too. Getting more back down to Earth, let's talk something about a little bit...
Traitor is for his own good. That's what he would want, you know?
For a little more gold. If Guardsmen are regular soldiers, Space Marines are super soldiers, Grey Knights are super soldiers, the Adeptus Custodes are super soldiers cubed. The Adeptus Custodes are...
So they're like stronger than the Grey Knights then. They're like super soldiers. Damn! Yellow Master, I should hope it is. Now these are the best. Damn! Dude, the power scaling goes crazy. Bull.
The third major army I own. I know, 3 armies. I know, I got carried away, okay? But that's all. I only have 3, okay? They are our final brand of Space Marines, but these ones are super special, okay? If a Guardsman is 6 foot, a Space Marine is 7 feet, a Custodian is 8 feet. These are the giant defenders of Holy Terra.
So wait, is the height like relative to how strong they are? So that's why the Emperor is 10 feet?
Also Earth. Earth is Terra. Terra.
Some of these guys are in the level of Primarchs. Damn.
Themselves. These are the people that literally guard the Emperor's throne room. Hence, Custodes. These boys protect the Emperor's throne room at all times and are literally like handcrafted people. They're not humans brought up by a gene seer or something. These are all handcrafted super soldiers.
So they're individually made. They're like, you know, handmade versus factory made.
From a tube. These behemoth of men are like 8 feet, 8.5 feet tall, and functionally immortal. They stand still, spear in hand, for hundreds of years without the need to sleep and barely even the need to eat, watching over.
Imagine one of them is bald. Like, imagine being handcrafted to have no hair. Isn't that sad? Like, wouldn't you be to the Emperor, bro? You could have handcrafted me with hair and you made me bald. You know, like, come on. There was a Space Marine who was shorter than average, so he got super jacked. That's like in life as well. Horus literally is crafted and he's bald. Yeah, but we know what happened. We know what happened, bro. Horus betrayed. Why do you think? Why do you think Horus betrayed the Emperor, huh? Why do you think Horus betrayed the Emperor? Not for shampoo, but I mean the Emperor has very long hair, so he probably needs a lot of shampoo.
The throne room and every other area of Holy Terra.
Horus had hair, then became bold and evil. Wait, they can lose hair? I said receding hairlines were problems past the Space Marines or like Primarchs.
Their entire purpose in life. And oh my lord, are they terrifying. These custodians put Space Marines to shame. If you liked your super soldiers, these are your super mega soldiers. One of these men can take on probably 3 Space Marines and most likely win. There are many different groups of custodians as well, like the Solar Watch, or there's also one of my personal favorite, the Aquilian Shield. The Aquilian Shield go out to seemingly unimportant individuals and protect them because they believe that they are going to be doing something very important.
Fuck around with super soldier jeans too much and hair can fall out. Oh my god, it's just like real life, like steroids, you know? That also happens.
In their lives, for instance, let's say a regular guardsman gets the protection of this giant
nice skirt, bro.
Tall golden god, because that guardsman will end up becoming a general one day or something of that nature. The custodians work in mysterious ways and are almost always outnumbered, but never outmatched. These people are pretty horrifying, both on the tabletop as well as in the lore. There are very few of them, however, and there's actually an extremely small amount of them, but that's kind of the point. There's only so many of these people that can have war gear this strong, weapons this powerful, and training this good, and the custodians have all 3 of it. For 100 years, I stood my watch amidst the somber shadows of the Sanctum Imperialis. I was still as a statue, but always ready. Always attuned to dangers unseen. Days, months, years passed by in a frenzied blur beyond those walls, yet within little moved and nothing changed. For 100 years I did not but wait, yet had any threat appeared I would have struck it down in a heartbeat. For 100 years I stood my watch, and as it ends I can tell you this: patience is a weapon. The custodians are the top dogs of the Imperium, and they hurt just that same way. Though I do want to discuss a little bit about the Sisters of Silence before we get out of here, because the Sisters of Silence I also have a few of.
Bruh, she's rocking that Zuko Season 1 hairstyle, bro. To appreciate the boob armor.
And they're really fun, but they don't get enough attention. These kind of bald...
They're rocking the Zuko Season 1!
Ladies are a whole group of pariahs, or also known as blanks. We'll be referring to them as blanks from now on. So as every mind is somewhat connected to the warp, these blanks are a genetic mutation that has it suppressed heavily. Because of that mind suppression, normal people feel this weird, like, uncomfortable nature when around them. When a Sister of Silence walks past them, you feel ill. You feel just uncomfortable and strange. So most
I can tell that feeling. I guess that's some time.
Don't actually live past childhood, because once they are birthed, they're, well, you know, killed or something at a very young age, because they just emit a horrifying aura.
Yeah, they have minus 5,000 aura in Zoomer terms.
These ladies, however, are guardians of the throne as well.
Some guys will still hit, though, you know?
For more psychic threats. See, none of the custodians are psychers, so they have a difficult time dealing with major demons and other kinds of psychic phenomena. These sisters are extremely specialized in it, all of them taking a vow of silence as they don't speak, hence the term Sisters of Silence, but they communicate through hand gestures and things of that nature. But if there's a demon issue, if there's any kind of warp-based problem, the sisters are extremely adept at dealing with them, thanks to their blank gene. They normally work a lot of time with the custodians because they have to deal with both kinds of threats, but they're not represented that way.
Damn, this goes hard. This goes hard. Look at them. They're looking all crazy, chilling.
Top. In fact, they only have like one real model for them, which is very unfortunate. I hope they'll get something new soon, because I think they should really be working together as it is that way in the lore. But hopefully we'll get there soon. But if we're talking about blanks, let's talk assassins.
Who are these guys? What the hell? They're just wearing spandex, man. Hola, 102 huevos. What's up? Officio Assassinorum.
Video. We're about to round it out. We got this and one more human thing, and then we're done. The assassins, though, the Officio Assassinorum. Oh boy, these people are deadly. Yeah, they're called assassins. They should be, but oh man, these people will mess you up. So these are from the Officio Assassinorum, a very special organization, and they are handpicked by the Grand Master of the Officio Assassinorum from the shit, what was it called? Scola Progenium. It's basically an orphan school. Your parents got murdered by demons or something. You get sent to this and you get trained to be whatever. Tempestus drop troop, an inquisitor, maybe even. Maybe you get a blank gene and you get thrown into the Sisters of Silence, or sometimes you just disappear. When you are taken, however, you go to one of 4 temples because the Assassinorum works in a temple
dude,
style.
this universe is too big. Holy, there's too many things. And this is just part 1. Oh my god. Hogwarts for assassin orphans.
Things. These temples are the Vindicare, Caluxus, Calidus, and Eversor temples. Let's start with the Vindicare. I'm far away. I've been sitting here for 3 weeks.
Sniper.
The Vindicare temple is the main sniper-based temple. Gigantic
It's like
sniper
TF2.
rifles for all these assassins. Their whole point is to be able to be in a spot and sit there, eye and scope, for weeks, waiting for their perfect target, taking people out from literal miles away after extremely long time periods. The Vindicare temple is about precise, perfect aim. There have been reports of Vindicares being able to single out particular body parts from over 2-3 miles away. Temples in the head, the jugular, for instance, and been sitting there after weeks. And when they're ready, take that shot. Time is done. Packs them up. The Calidus temple, however, is
Wow.
a lot more about shape-shifting and deviantart. It's mostly a female
DeviantArt. That's where I would see someone like her.
based one, or at least it seems to be, and this allows a lot of body augmentation for
You don't have to tell me about that.
certain individuals to be able to kind of transmorph themselves and infiltrate areas that are problems. These assassins
I just care about the lore, okay? I just care about the lore.
will end up taking missions that take them years, 2-3 years, to infiltrate a heretical group and slowly work their way up just to get enough time to put a bullet into the main target's head and then escape unharmed, or become the main target and sabotage it from within. These are all completely about deception, mind tricks, polymorphing, and everything in between, and lots of drawings.
Yeah, I don't know why people would like to draw this faction.
Lots of drawings. The Eversor Temple.
Oh, that's a skeleton! Oh, it's a skeleton! It's a skeleton! It's a skeleton.
Just kind of disturbing one. The Eversor Temple is about when you don't want anything to come back alive, friend or foe. You want it all dead. An Eversor is psychogenically...
Oh, skeleton! Why he kind of built though, like...
conditioned with just psychotherapy and psychological torture to only feel violence, hatred, and anger. It does
my
the
God.
Clockwork Orange style of thing of just making
Average
you
Twitch streamer, bro.
forced to watch never-ending pain and misery and psycho conditioning, I guess is the term. And then they pump you full of tons
They're just haters, I guess. Gotta respect that.
of psychedelic drugs, and they cryo-freeze you. And then they drop you in an area where they just want to make sure everything is dead.
That's
and then
metal.
Defrost, full of just all this insane, mind-boggling psychotherapy and psychedelic drugs, and you just go to town. Yeah, if you don't care if anyone comes back alive. You're like, all right, lost cause, send them in. Finally, there's the most bizarre temple, the Caluxus
Long skull.
temple. The Caluxus assassins are feared even among the other temples. So that blank gene, the people will go to the Caluxus Temple with this as well. And this is where they can harness that to be massively anti-psyker or even just anti-regular people. They are seen with extreme fear and distrust among many, many people.
So if the other ones were minus 5,000 auras, these are minus 500,000 aura.
They're described by the Eldar by quote as being pure evil. Imagine that uncomfortable feeling from that blank gene I mentioned, and then imagine them being taught and given equipment to amplify it by 100.
Damn.
If normally regular people feel uncomfortable, now they are basically akin to being a siren wailing directly in your ear. And if you're a psyker, oh no. The sheer presence of a Caluxus assassin is enough for you to tear your skin off. You will rather gouge your eyes out and rip your nails off than even being near this person. The Caluxus assassin is when you want psychers to literally lose their minds, and they will go on their knees and ask you to gun them down because it is a suitable choice over being anywhere near you. The model of that temple is...
That's what women do when I get next to them, Chad.
That which is unknown and unseen commands the greatest fear. Now, for the tabletop, assassins aren't that special. You can call them in no matter what Imperium faction you are, and they do a lot of work for themselves, but at the same time, they're very specialized and require a lot of finesse. And they work the way you generally want them to, though. You want to cause some distortion and weird stuff, you take a Calidus. You want to just murder swaths of infantry and then blow up Eversor. You want to kill that one guy, Vindicare, and if you have a lot of Psychers, Caluxus. It's a nice little, like, jack of all trades if you have a specific thing you want to kill. And you get to choose which is really fun. But now, let's talk about the last human
I think that
faction.
was my favorite so far. I think the assassins from this video, they're my favorite.
Round this video out before we do part 2. The Inquisition. We have a
Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition!
lot to talk about with them.
On the subject of heresy!
Oh boy. Where do I even begin with the Inquisition? Take every secret police you can think of. The KGB, the Gestapo, the CIA, FBI, any of these kinds of people. And then mark it up by about 10 and give them the most power in the entire Imperium.
What?
No, you know what? How about this?
Do they have more power than the fuck? Oh, is it like political power or like physical power?
This right here, it's not just a quote. This is the Imperial motto.
Political
the
both?
motto of the Inquisition. I apologize for my bad pronunciation. Innocentia nihil probat.
Nihil! 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 Innocence proves nothing. Holy shit, what the fuck?
Innocence proves nothing. The most powerful organization.
Religious power is far above political power here. Well, the thing is, if religion is the whole politics, then religion power is political power in this universe.
In the Imperium, the secret police, their #1 motto is innocence proves nothing. The Inquisition goes around like the secret police.
Damn. The lore, though. This looks Bloodborne.
Actives to find issues in the Imperium. And they have different ordos depending on which one we're talking about. The Ordo Hereticus, the Ordo Xenos, the Ordo Malleus, for instance, and a whole bunch of other ones. Hereticus is obvious, they deal with heretics. Xenos tries to find alien threats, and Malleus is demons. They all have different specializations in what they're trying to go for as this Inquisitor. And that's what they're called, Inquisitors. Each of them, as an Inquisitor, has their own free reign to do as they wish. They may have a ship and a crew, and they go out to find problems and interrogate people a lot.
The answer only to the Emperor and themselves. Not even to the golden guys. Other groups can argue back and might be able to negotiate and stuff with them, but technically they can do whatever they want. Damn.
They are above the law in every department over Space Marines. Now, the Space Marines might argue against them and stuff, and there might be a lot of blowback, but technically they are above them as Inquisitors. They are looking to investigate and figure out coups and cults and demonic incursions and possible Xenos issues like gene stealers or a new threat coming into an area. They're about learning that stuff and actually doing detective work. And memes aside, they're pretty good at it. The Inquisition having all of this power does make them a little bit power hungry and frantic sometimes. And yes, it is still a bad thing, but most of them are pretty good at their job. And they spend a lot of time being very diligent to make sure that all of these leads they follow
Bureaucrats.
are proper and correct. They're basically space detectives with just enormous power and sometimes a bit of a power complex. And we haven't even talked about Exterminatus yet.
Honestly, ain't that true? Bloodborne on PC tomorrow. Wait, really? Wait! When was this announced? Wait! For real? I'm playing Bloodborne tomorrow. There's an Inquisitor that saw Tyranids coming and decided to destroy hundreds of planets. No, it's wishful thinking. You're evil. You're evil. You're evil!
Exterminatus. Exterminatus is deeming a planet unfit to be
Oh
saved.
man.
I deem
Oh,
that
man.
this planet is demon infested
Oh,
and taking
man.
it back will cost too many resources and is not worth it. I have now committed
Oh, man.
Exterminatus on this planet. I will now sign the death warrant of
Is
the
that what happened to that one sea starting planet?
entire Imperium planet, as it is unfit to take and better to be destroyed
Bah.
than allow the enemy to hold it. This can mean saturation bombardment. This can mean cracking the planet's core and breaking it apart. Doesn't matter. Render this planet inhospitable to all life. Yes, the innocence proves nothing people are the only people
Oh,
who can choose
man.
this planet must die in its entirety.
That one was destroyed by
Yeah,
chaos.
You're playing the villain. Now, it is memed a lot, but most Inquisitors are very rare to do Exterminatus. Exterminatus is a very crazy thing. There's only so many worlds that you don't want to destroy all of them. Now, naturally, with the memes aside, there are some people who are a little bit rough on this one.
Phidias Cryptoman. Who the hell is Phidias
But
Cryptoman?
most Inquisitors generally don't like to do Exterminatus a ton, but it is an option they have. And it's a crazy option when you think about it.
Definitely not gay for Celestine.
Secret Police Inquisition are unfortunately not represented on the tabletop very much. You generally kind of put one in your army if you feel like it. You have a couple special options there and some side content, but they're not really fleshed out very well, and personally they need a lot more stuff put in there, and they really need a lot more effort put into them. They're not quite where I want them to be. Overall, the Inquisition makes for a lot of the best storytelling as well, because it's a little bit hard to talk about a big story of a whole bunch of space marines killing something, right? It's just a big battle story. It's not as interesting. Having that intrigue and that moral dilemma that an Inquisitor has makes for a lot better media. And honestly, the more people do it, I think it's better, because then it adds a little more humanity to the Warhammer horrible, horrible grim darkness. And wow, we just finished the humans.
Hell yeah.
Come back for part 2 when we talk about Chaos and Xenos.
Oh, I
'cause
have
we
to.
got to talk about the 4 Chaos Gods and all the Chaos Marine Legions and the Tau and the Necrons and the Orcs, and oh boy.
Oh, the Necrons, my boys.
We got a lot. I'll see you in part 2.
Pog! Cryptoman, he's the one that destroyed hundreds of planets. He was exiled from the Inquisition for going too far. Imagine what you just heard about this guys. And this guy went too far. Bah. Bah. Crazy, 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 craziness.